Hey everyone, I hope that you had an incredible Christmas weekend and that it was capped off wonderfully. Chef's kiss by the Bills defeating the Patriots 33-21 on the road. They now have the inside track towards the AFC East division title by virtue of a tiebreaker with division record. So thanks to a week 1 win by the Dolphins over the Patriots. The Dolphins, who went on to lose 7 straight, have now won 7 straight, but they went on to lose 7 straight after beating Miami in week 1. Thanks to that game, the Bills have the division record tiebreaker over the Patriots, and thus, by winning their last 2 games, they can clinch the AFC East, clinch a home game for a packed Highmark Stadium in the wild card round of the playoffs. The thought of that is very exciting. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves, but as fans, it's hard not to. The team shouldn't get ahead of themselves. But like I said, we're fans. We think about these things. 3 straight home games, Falcons, Jets, wild card game. Like, that's just so exciting. I mean, I don't see how you can not think of it that way. But the Bills technically haven't even clinched a playoff spot yet. They're 97% to make it. I don't know the exact percentage to win a division, but definitely by winning out, they obviously take the division. And they play 2 games at home where they'll be double-digit favorites in both. They're already like 14-point favorites against Atlanta, who somehow is 7-8. Like, the Bills are only 2 games better than Atlanta, and I'm not sure how. We'll talk a little bit about Atlanta. I guess I kind of do know how because I looked up Atlanta's schedule and everything, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to get ahead of myself just yet. But Atlanta, Jets, division, wild card round, who's the opponent going to be? That's what we're thinking. Even though the Bills haven't technically clinched a playoff spot yet. There is still out there in the universe some sort of doomsday scenario where the Bills lose out and don't make the playoffs. But they can clinch this Sunday by beating Atlanta, and then I think there's a couple scenarios where if Baltimore loses, they're in, or if Vegas loses and the Chargers lose or something like that, maybe one or the other, the Bills are officially in. Even if they haven't yet clinched the division, they'll officially have clinched at least a wild card spot. Anyway, let me not speed past what happened in the New England game, because how could you not be in love watching the New England game? I've been critical of Josh Allen in weeks past, over the course of the season at some points, because of his inability to stage a comeback. And while he technically didn't stage a comeback in this game against New England, he was outstanding. Even when the Bills got the ball back later in the game and it's 26-21, and the Bills have 1st and 10, and it looks like he's going to throw an interception. He almost throws an interception to J.C. Jackson, and then maybe we're having an entirely different discussion altogether right now about divisions, about wildcard spots, etc. But Jackson's coming towards Diggs, and the throw is out wide, and whatever, miscommunication, it happens. It's really the only bad throw Allen made all day. Could it have cost him the game? I suppose. I'm not going to butterfly effect this. I'm not going to dwell on this too much, because Allen was otherwise incredible. They got to a 3rd down 2 plays later, and he hits McKenzie, who steps up huge. McKenzie on the next play as well. McKenzie just, what more can you say? 12 targets. 12 targets for Isaiah McKenzie, 11 catches, 125, and a touchdown. Diggs in his own right, who I just said, 7 for 85 and a touchdown on 13 targets, so his catch percentage was a little bit lower, was obviously much lower than McKenzie's was, but he has some sort of power over J.C. Jackson, who might just be a very nice player, but not an elite player, despite the amount of interceptions he gets. He certainly has a nose for the football. He's talented at that. But Diggs has his number, and that is, I'm glad. I'm glad I can watch another Patriots game and see J.C. Jackson be good and not have to worry about him necessarily shutting down our best player, or our best offensive, weapon in Stephon Diggs, because he's just been showing that he's incapable of doing it. All right? I don't want to dwell too much also on the McKenzie thing. Like, I'm gonna bring this back a little bit. Obviously, the Bills were missing Gabe Davis and Cole Beasley due to COVID. But when Sanders was out last week and Davis stepped up, we were like, well, who needs Sanders? Get more of Davis. And then Davis can't play this week, and neither can Beasley, obviously. And then McKenzie jumps in, and we're like, not all of us, but some of us, some fans, are like, Well, who needs Beasley? McKenzie's got to play. Like, why can't this is just like a good problem to have? I mean, why can't they all play a little bit? Obviously, you're not taking Diggs off the field. You can still keep Beasley in the slot. You can keep McKenzie in the slot if you go 4 wide, which they do a lot. And then you can use Davis. I mean, you can use Sanders. Like, they have weapons all over the place. And based on the game plan that he created, at least this past Sunday, where the Bills never punted, I'm going to trust Brian Dable to figure something out, to figure out a way to use all of these different receivers. I'm not going to pound the table for whomever to take whomever's position. I'm not here for that. I'm just glad we have this wealth of talent, this cornucopia, abundance of talent on the offensive side of the ball. And obviously it's led by Allen. I criticized in the past, but that drive at the end of the game, that was wild. That 4th down rollout where he sidesteps Jackson and makes them run into each other. Jackson and Judon, their 2 best defensive players probably. Makes them run into each other, gets the 1st down, has another 3rd down later in the drive, flicks it out there to Diggs, like this little side pass. Diggs gets the 1st down, sidestepping guys. Then they do the same thing on the touchdown to Knox. He rolls out, flips it in there to him for the touchdown. I mean, you're just in love watching it. How can you not be? That's New England. It's obviously the opponent is part of that. The fact that it's New England, the fact that the division's on the line, the fact that media has started crowning them after the Patriots ran it 46 times and threw it 3 times and won on Monday Night Football in Buffalo. It's like, oh, well, the Bills' 10 or 11th month reign, they didn't even get to a full year. They're done now. They're done. Patriots are back. And yeah, Mac Jones, 14 of 32, 145, and 2 picks. Sorry. I mean, I think you have every right to believe that something similar might have happened had the win not been such a factor in Buffalo on Monday Night Football, that the Bills probably would have beat them, would have beat New England, had Mac Jones had to throw the ball a little bit more. I mean, Damian Harris was successful on Sunday. Even this past Sunday, I mean, 18 for 103 and 3 touchdowns. It's not like the run defense was outstanding. He broke a few. But when they had to rely on Jones, nope. I guess he's the type, he's just striking me, at least at this stage of his career, and it's just his first year. He's just the type of player who can get you through a game. Can't really win it for you. The old game manager thing, you know? He can get you through it. If he doesn't make any mistakes, you're going to have a good chance of winning. But he makes he throws 2 interceptions. One, they were down to 12 towards the end of the game. But, I mean, otherwise, what was impressive by Mac Jones? Did he make one impressive play? Probably, but, I don't remember what it was. I mean, his supporting cast isn't outstanding. I mean, Jacoby Myers is your leading receiver at 6 for 59. Bourne, 2 for 33. N'Keal Harry, I can't believe they continue to put him on the field. You know, he had that fumble that led to the touchdown off his helmet on Monday Night Football against the Bills. I mean, 6 targets, 2 catches. I read somewhere that he has almost 100 targets in his time with the Patriots, and 47 of those have ended in a pick, ended up in a turnover of his targets. Have ended up in a turnover or an incompletion. I mean, that's just a negative player. It's a losing player. I can't believe they continue to put him out there. Hunter Henry, non-factor. Jonnu Smith, total non-factor. Bills did a really nice job. Very nice job. They get, just the 1 sack on the first possession by Ed Oliver, but Mac didn't look comfortable at all. And Josh looked comfortable all day. Like I said earlier, they didn't even punt. And not only did they not even punt, they didn't turn the ball over except once on downs at the 1. That's maybe the most questionable sequence of the game, where they have 3 plays from the 1 and they throw on all of them. But, it's 13 for 61, touchdown, 10 for 68, field goal, 7 for 32, 7 for 42. Then they took a shot, actually. They get the ball back with a minute left, and they take a shot down to Sanders, and he got flagged for OPI, but then they're like, all right, let's just take this into half. Then, out of the half, 14 for 64. That got derailed by a couple penalties. They still end up kicking a field goal, 9 for 66, 13 for 75. Then the game's over. I mean, that's not a ton of possessions. That's really 7 meaningful possessions resulting in 6 scores. 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals. They got inside the 20 on every drive. Bill Belichick's vaunted elite defense just getting walked by Josh Allen all day. Anyway, super impressive. What more can I say about it? Super impressive. Josh, I'm not going to criticize anything. Of course not. Like I said, while he didn't lead a comeback, that drive at the end of the game where it's a 5-point game and you need points, and they get to a 4th and 1 even, and McDermott's aggression was back. I want to give him credit for that. The 4th down strategy and everything. Not just settling for field goals. Not settling for a field goal on 4th and 1, like a 50-yard field goal on 4th and 1 that can put you up 8. Being up 8 in the last couple minutes is a good winning, you have a pretty good winning percentage doing that. Because not only does the team have to score a touchdown, they have to get a 2-point conversion, and then they probably have to beat you in overtime. I think it's 85% of teams up 8 in the final minutes still end up winning the game. It's a really high percentage. But McDermott was like, to hell with that. Let's keep this train moving. And they get, Dable, I'm sure, called the play, the bootleg to Josh. They get the first down. A couple plays later, they're in the end zone, and the game's out of reach. Kudos all around. Everyone. Very excited. Obviously, I'm sure you guys are excited too. Division title within the grasps. Once again, we didn't get to go, well, some of us did get to go to wild card games. I got to go to the Baltimore game in the divisional round, but 6,700 people versus 67,000 people. Give me that. Give me the tailgate give me a full tailgate for Bills playoff game. I'm ready. Been ready. Bills have to take care of business against Atlanta first this week. Atlanta is just such a weird team. I alluded to at the beginning of this video. I really don't know how they're 7-8. I feel like they're more of a 5-10 type of team. But the schedule's been kind of soft to them. Their last 3 wins at least were Detroit, Carolina, and Jacksonville. Not the most impressive stretch. They have been inconsistent all year. The only time they've won back-to-back games was their bye week was jammed in between, where they beat the Jets, had the bye, then beat Miami, when Miami was in the middle of that 7-game losing streak. But they've alternated most of the season. I'm looking at it right now. Loss, win, loss, win, bye. Win, loss, win, loss. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. Sorry about these weird hand motions throughout. But it's just, I'm going down with my eyes. But they alternate all the time. So, if you're going by that, they should lose to the Bills. The good teams they've played at San Francisco, they lost 31-13. The above average teams at Tampa Bay, or against Tampa Bay, 30-17 loss. New England, 25-0 loss. Dallas, 43-3 loss. Saints, they did beat the Saints, 27-25. This is pretty much the extent of their schedule. They got killed by the Eagles in Week 1, 32-6. Killed by Tampa Bay in Week 2, 48-25. That's early in the year, but even more recently, they haven't been super impressive on offense. Their most impressive game, passing at least, recently has been Tampa Bay, and they lost by 13 points. They haven't thrown for more than 300 yards since Week 9 in their win against the Saints. And they've been without Calvin Ridley, and that's a tough stretch. What is it with them and really freakish players? Kyle Pitts, I'm talking about. Freakish players is not scoring touchdowns for them. Julio Jones not scoring touchdowns was a serious issue for them. Now they have Kyle Pitts. His one touchdown came in Week 5 in London against the Jets. The guy has not scored a domestic United States touchdown. Just hilarious. Get him in the end zone. How are you not? I like Russell Gage. He's a nice player. They're just not super threatened by these guys. No offense. I like Cordero Patterson. Where did this come from? The guy's got 11 touchdowns. He's their leading, or I think he's second in receiving yards on the team, third in receiving yards on the team, leads the team in rushing. Mike Davis has been otherwise pretty useless, just 3.5 yards per carry. But Patterson has been kind of a revelation for them at age 30. That might even be the type of player maybe the Bills look at next year. Is that possible? This type of Cordero Patterson, does that fit the Bills' offense? I want to say it does. Although, the Bills now, whatever, I'm just not threatened by them. Bills are getting a bunch of guys back from COVID. Beasley, Davis, Feliciano. Maybe the line is back. They lost Ike Butker. Ryan Bates filled in admirably on Sunday. I'm taking the Bills. Bills over Falcons, 34-14. Bills big over Falcons, 34-14. Improved to 10-6. First ever 17th game in the regular season. Let's go win the division. front of a packed Highmark Stadium. Guys, enjoy your weekend. Have the happiest of New Year's. See you at the stadium on Sunday. And got ahead of myself there. As always, above all else, go Bills.